No sooner than Brandon Drum and I finished recording a podcast that includes Levi Draper and Oklahoma. Levi Draper has entered the transfer portal. We got to talk about it after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time, and today need to talk about Levi Draper entering the transfer portal. Those of you that are watching this will probably watch the podcast that I uploaded with Brandon Drum, where we tackled this subject just mere hours before Levi Draper announced that he is entering the transfer portal. And you'll know that going through it and how we're talking about the linebacker depth at that position. But one of the things that we batted around was what's going to happen with him, because he played in all 14 games for Oklahoma last year, and he's a senior. And for a guy that we had expected to ascend, he hasn't. But I want to couch that in this. Levi Draper would be exactly where Kenneth Murray Jr. is now had he not had his shoulder injury in August 2017, which thrust Kenneth Murray Jr. from his outside linebacker position to becoming the first true freshman to start at middle linebacker for Oklahoma since 1975. 3 years later, we're talking about Kenneth Murray Jr. as being a fringe first-round draft pick. He got the starts. He got the run. He earned the coach's approval. He earned the coach's trust, and he was the guy. Levi, for his part, comes back after redshirting and never really finds his way into the mix. Again, tremendous talent coming out of Collinsville and one of the leaders in the 2017 class for Oklahoma, along with guys like Trey Brown. And the roommate of Kenneth Murray Jr., for which both of those guys call each other brothers. They are very tight. They are very close. I'm sure that they talked about some of this leading up to, but it also becomes the second entrant into the transfer portal for Oklahoma in as many days. And going back to December, we saw Michael Jones enter the transfer portal. We saw Ty DeArmond enter the transfer portal, come out at Southern Methodist. We've seen Troy James, defensive tackle, enter the transfer portal. We'll see where he comes out. Quaylon Crawford has since taken his name out, but now Ryan Jones and Levi Draper are in, for which I got to tell my alma mater, the University of Tulsa, you need to get on it. You need to make sure that kid ends up as a Golden Hurricane, because I would not be surprised to find out Sam Pittman, Arkansas, make their way toward him, or coaches down at Southern Methodist. Levi Draper is a player with enough love and care, and give him just a little bit of not a kick in the butt, but just a hug. He's going to tackle 100 people next year. He's going to create 3-4 forced fumbles. He's going to have 5 to 10 sacks. He's that kind of player. He's been that kind of player. I know not everybody is on board with that because of how his career has turned out with Oklahoma, but he's going to graduate with 2 years of eligibility left. He's a senior right now. That's where he is. So somebody is going to get a player, and somebody's going to get an absolute monster in their middle, which is becoming a premium position. Between nickel safety and middle linebacker, having a guy that can fill, that understands scheme, that can put people on the ground is becoming even more important than it used to be, because so many teams want to spread you out and get you in space so that they can run the football. And against a light box, 5 or 6 in the box, you need to have an inside linebacker or two that can bring down a running back or a quarterback and chase that guy down, that can force the read option to go to the outside, that can make that quarterback hang on to the ball and take those hits, that want to put you in positions to not only know what the defense wants to do, but why they want to do it. Why is such a big part of this? And getting back to the why of the 6'1", 234-pound specimen that is Levi Draper, you understand why. He wasn't playing. He wasn't playing with Mike Stoops. He wasn't playing with Alex Grinch. He wasn't playing with Brian Odom. We heard talk of this over the summer, and my man Brandon Drum and I chopping up about this subject off and on for the entire year, for basically Levi's tenure. And there have been some moments where it felt like he might have checked out just to come back in, try to get it figured out. We thought Brian Odom being the linebackers coach was going to help him because he's from the state of Oklahoma and he understands the meaning of that position and he understood what kind of talent Levi Draper is. But I am not shocked to find out that he is in the transfer portal. I will wait to see where he comes out because I think of all the guys that have entered the portal for Oklahoma dating back to September, Draper is the most talented. Draper is the guy for which I would have put it all on. I love Levi Draper. I've loved his tape. I've loved the idea of him playing at Oklahoma. I really wanted to see it come through. I'm also not an assistant coach in the room watching the meetings or watching film and wondering why Brian Meade is the first guy up. No disrespect to Brian Meade, but when we're talking about a guy that was heavily recruited, could have gone to Alabama among other places, that chose to go to Oklahoma, and also really did group together this 2017 class that created the backbone of the 2019 team that made the Peach Bowl, that won a 6th straight Big 12 championship and was going to lead again in 2020. I wanted more done there. You know, at the very least, I'll say this about Levi Draper at Oklahoma. They signed him, right? They kept an in-state kid in-state. And as much as I beat that drum about keeping kids in-state that are your class, like Creed Humphrey, for instance, this is one of those things that needed to happen, right? And they did it. Did he ascend to the top of their depth chart at any point in time? No. Did he play on all the teams? Yes. Should he have been playing more? I think so. But Grinch had shown that he wants to play a lot of different guys on his defense, and if he didn't feel comfortable playing you, that was on you. Only so much can be said about that. Only so much can be done about that. Now, looking at the linebacker depth, you really need Deshaun White and Caleb Kelly not only to be great, but to stay healthy. Because now your depth is an issue as a part of just how good you're going to be with being able to be competitive in scout team. You're going to have, as I mentioned, Caleb Kelly. You're going to have Deshaun White. You're going to have Brian Asamoah. You're going to have Brian Meade. You're probably going to have Shane Witter, who's on campus right now, and Brendan Walker. But after that, starts to get dicey, right? You lost Jonathan Perkins to the portal. You lost Ryan Jones to the portal. And now you've lost Levi Draper to the portal. Brian Odom's going to have to really coach his butt off, as is Alex Grinch. You're going to have to go get somebody. Hate to see it, but I love to see Levi Draper taking matters into his own hands and trying to do what's best for himself. We'll see how this turns out. All right, that's it for me. Doses.